You reach a certain point in life where you realize that independence isn't just about being able to do things on your own. It's about the comfort of knowing you can. There's a difference. The younger version of yourself may have taken simple tasks for granted. Things like walking up the stairs, getting in and out of the bathtub, or even remembering where you put your keys. But as time moves forward, these small things begin to require more effort, more patience, and sometimes a little assistance. And that's perfectly all right. There's no shame in needing support, especially when it allows you to continue living life on your own terms. That's what we're here to talk about today. How to maintain independence as we age. Because independence isn't about refusing help. It's about accepting the right kind of help so you can live safely, comfortably, and with dignity. Now, if you or someone you love is living alone in their later years, you probably already understand the challenges that come with it. The world isn't as friendly to aging bodies as it should be. Slippery floors, dim lighting, steep stairs. These aren't just minor inconveniences. They can be the difference between a peaceful evening and an unexpected hospital visit. And let's be honest, nobody likes the idea of losing control over their daily routine, their choices, their freedom. That's where assistive devices come in. Not as a sign of weakness, but as tools for maintaining strength. Over the years, technology and design have come a long way in making life easier for older adults. And while there's no device that can turn back time, there are plenty that can make everyday tasks safer, simpler, and more manageable. But here's the catch. Not all devices are created equal, and not all of them are necessary for everyone. The key is finding what truly adds value to your life, not just what looks good in a product catalog. Before we dive into specific devices, let's talk about the core needs that matter most when living alone in your later years. First and foremost, safety. This is non-negotiable. A home should be a place of comfort, not a place of risk. So anything that prevents falls, ensures quick access to help, and enhances security should be a priority. Then there's mobility. How easily you move around, whether inside or outside the house. Mobility aids aren't just for those with severe limitations. They're for anyone who wants to avoid unnecessary strain and injury. And of course, there's convenience. Because life should still be enjoyable, not just manageable. Small adjustments can make a world of difference in keeping daily life smooth and stress-free. Now, let's start with the most crucial category: safety. One of the first things to consider is a medical alert system. Some people shy away from the idea of wearing one, thinking it makes them seem fragile. But here's the truth. Having a direct line to emergency help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of intelligence. These systems have evolved. You're no longer tied to a bulky button that only works in one room. Many modern devices now come in the form of stylish wristbands, pendants, or even smartwatches that allow you to call for help with a simple press of a button. Some models even detect falls automatically, which is a game changer if you ever find yourself unable to reach a phone. Then there's smart home security. It's not just about keeping intruders out, it's about peace of mind. A good security system can include motion sensor lights, smart locks that allow you to control access remotely, and cameras that let you check on things even when you're away. And let's not forget video doorbells. These are especially useful if you have trouble getting to the door quickly, or if you want to avoid unnecessary strain answering visitors. Now, let's talk about fall prevention. Because falls aren't just accidents, they're warnings. Your home should not be a battlefield where you're constantly fighting against slippery floors, uneven rugs, and poorly placed furniture. A simple but powerful addition: grab bars. These should be in key places, next to the toilet inside, the shower, and even in hallways if necessary. They provide stability where you need it most. And speaking of bathrooms, let's discuss the bathtub and shower, places where more accidents happen than anywhere else in the house. If stepping over the side of the tub feels like an unnecessary risk, a walk-in bathtub or a shower chair can make all the difference. These aren't luxuries. They're practical investments in your safety. A slip-resistant bath mat, handheld, shower head, and even a simple suction cup grab bar can turn a risky space into a safe one. Another overlooked danger? Lighting. Your eyesight isn't what it used to be, and that's okay. But dimly lit rooms and hallways can turn a simple walk to the bathroom into a risky maneuver. Night lights with motion sensors, smart bulbs that adjust brightness automatically, and touch-activated lamps are small changes that make a big difference. You should never have to fumble for a light switch in the dark. So, we've covered the first layer, safety. These adjustments aren't about taking away your independence. They're about preserving it. Because the real loss of independence happens when an injury forces you to rely on others for basic needs. The goal here is to prevent that from happening in the first place. For now, take a moment to think about your own home. What areas feel the most challenging for you? What small changes could make your daily routine easier? One of the biggest misconceptions about aging is that slowing down means stopping. That's not true. The body may not move the way it once did, but that doesn't mean movement should stop altogether. In fact, staying active, whether that's walking around the house, going outside for fresh air, or just maintaining good posture, is one of the best ways to preserve independence. But let's be honest. Moving around isn't as effortless as it used to be. Stiff joints, weaker muscles, and occasional dizziness can make even a short walk feel like an uphill climb. That's where mobility aids come in. And let's be clear about something. Using a mobility device doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart. It means you understand that preserving independence sometimes requires the right kind of support. Let's start with one of the most basic and useful mobility aids, the cane. If you've ever felt just a little unsteady on your feet, a cane can be a lifesaver. But not all canes are the same. There are single-tip canes for those who just need a little extra balance. And then there are quad canes, those with 4 small legs at the bottom, for extra stability. And if you want something more advanced, there are even folding canes with built-in LED lights for better visibility in the dark. The key is to choose one that suits your needs, without making movement more of a hassle than it already is. Now, for those who need more support than a cane can provide, there's the walker. Walkers aren't just for people with severe mobility issues. They're for anyone who wants to take pressure off their legs and move safely. Some come with wheels. Some have built-in seats so you can rest when needed. And some even have storage pouches for carrying small items around the house. A walker doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're making sure you can keep going. But what if you still want to move around outside, go shopping, or take longer walks without worrying about getting too tired? That's where rollators come in. Unlike standard walkers, rollators have wheels on all legs, a comfortable seat, and hand brakes for control. They make it easy to move around without constantly lifting and adjusting the walker. If you've ever felt frustrated by short distances, feeling longer than they should, a rollator can make a world of difference. Then there are mobility scooters, for those who still love going out but need a little extra help getting from place to place. These scooters aren't just for people who can't walk. They're for those who want to keep living life on their own terms, without exhaustion or discomfort holding them back. Whether it's a trip to the grocery store, a visit to the park, or just getting around the neighborhood, A mobility scooter ensures that getting there is never the hardest part. Of course, mobility isn't just about walking. It's also about getting up and down safely. That's why lift chairs are becoming so popular. If standing up from a seated position feels like a struggle, a lift chair does the work for you, slowly raising you to an upright position without strain. It's like having a helping hand every time you need to get up, without having to call someone for assistance. And speaking of getting up, let's talk about bed rails. Getting out of bed should be a simple task, but for many older adults, it can feel like an unnecessary risk, especially if dizziness or muscle weakness is an issue. A sturdy, easy-to-grip bed rail can provide just the support needed to transition from lying down to sitting up and from sitting to standing without the fear of losing balance. Another overlooked area? The toilet. A place most people don't think about until they start having trouble with it. Bending down too low, struggling to stand up. It's not something most people like to talk about, but it's a reality. That's why raised toilet seats with grab bars exist. These small modifications make using the bathroom much safer and more comfortable, eliminating unnecessary strain. And then there's the issue of stairs. Stairs can be the biggest challenge in a home, especially if you're dealing with knee pain, hip issues, or general fatigue. That's where stair lifts come in. If stairs have ever felt like a mountain, a stair lift can make them feel like a gentle slope. With a simple push of a button, you can glide up and down without risking a fall. It's one of the smartest ways to ensure you're not forced to avoid certain parts of your own home. But let's not forget the small mobility aids that make a big difference. Things like reach grabbers that let you pick up items from the floor without bending over, button hooks that make dressing easier, and elastic shoelaces that eliminate the need for constant bending and tying. These little adjustments help maintain daily independence without frustration. Here's what it all comes down to. Mobility isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about having the freedom to move in a way that feels safe, comfortable, and empowering. Whether it's using a simple cane for balance, a walker for stability, or a stair lift to access your entire home, the goal is the same: to stay independent, stay mobile, and stay in control of your own life. Now, think about your daily routine. Do you ever hesitate before standing up? Do stairs feel more exhausting than they should? Do you find yourself avoiding activities because they seem like too much effort? If so, maybe it's time to consider a small adjustment. Because a little support can go a long way in keeping life active, fulfilling, and independent. There's something about the little things in life that matter more as we get older. The way a cup of coffee feels in your hands in the morning. The satisfaction of completing a simple task without frustration. The joy of knowing you can still take care of yourself the way you always have. But let's be honest, some of those little things aren't as effortless as they once were. Simple daily tasks like opening jars, cooking meals, and even keeping track of medications can feel like unnecessary obstacles. And while there's no shame in asking for help when needed, the real goal is to make sure you don't have to ask for help more than necessary. That's where convenience-enhancing devices come in. Not as luxuries, but as practical tools that keep life running smoothly. Let's start in the kitchen because no matter how old we get, we still need to eat, cook, and clean. But the kitchen is also a place full of small challenges: gripping, twisting, lifting, and balancing. One of the best solutions? Automatic jar openers. If you've ever struggled with a stubborn lid, you know how frustrating it can be. Electric jar openers do the work for you with the press of a button. No more twisting, no more straining, no more banging the jar on the counter hoping it'll loosen. Then there's the issue of cooking safely. Maybe you love cooking, but worry about accidentally leaving the stove on. Or maybe standing for long periods while preparing a meal isn't as easy as it used to be. That's where induction cooktops come in. Unlike traditional stovetops, induction cooktops stay cool to the touch. Only the pot or pan heats up. This greatly reduces the risk of burns or fires. Pair it with a kitchen stool that allows you to sit while prepping meals, and cooking suddenly becomes safer, easier, and more enjoyable. And what about food prep? Chopping vegetables, peeling fruit, and handling knives require dexterity and grip strength, both of which can change with age. That's why ergonomic kitchen tools, like Easy Grip, knives, automatic vegetable choppers, and one-handed cutting boards, can make cooking more manageable. Small changes, big difference. Now let's talk about medication management. Taking the right pills at the right time is non-negotiable. Yet one of the biggest struggles for older adults is keeping track of medications. A missed dose here. An accidental double dose there. It's easy for things to get mixed up. That's why a smart pill dispenser is one of the most useful assistive devices for anyone living alone. These dispensers sort, organize, and even remind you when it's time to take your medicine. Some even come with alarms or alerts that notify family members if a dose is missed. Then there's hydration, something that becomes even more important with age. Dehydration can lead to dizziness, confusion, and other health issues. Yet it's easy to forget to drink enough water throughout the day. That's why smart water bottles exist. These bottles light up or sound an alert when it's time to drink, ensuring that you're staying hydrated without having to think about it. Let's move into the living room, the place where relaxation should be effortless. But if getting up and down from a chair feels like a chore, relaxation can feel more like a task. That's why automatic recliners with remote control adjustments can be a game changer. These aren't just regular chairs. They can gently tilt forward to help you stand up and recline back to let you rest comfortably. And speaking of rest, let's not forget hearing aids and TV amplifiers. If watching TV has become a game of turn up the volume until the neighbors complain, then a wireless TV amplifier can help. It allows you to hear the television clearly without blasting the volume for everyone else in the house, or the next house over. Another overlooked device, voice-activated assistants like Alexa or Google Home. Some people resist using them because they seem like a gadget rather than a necessity. But here's the reality. They make life a whole lot easier. Instead of struggling to reach for the light switch, bending down to adjust the thermostat, or manually setting reminders, you can simply ask your assistant to do it for you. Turn on the lights. Remind me to take my medicine at 6 p.m. What's the weather like today? It's like having a personal assistant available 24/7. And let's not forget robotic vacuum cleaners. Cleaning the house might not be as easy as it used to be, but that doesn't mean dust and dirt should take over. A simple robot vacuum can keep floors clean without any effort on your part. Just set it up, press a button, and let it do the work while you focus on more important things. Now, let's step outside the house for a moment. Getting out and about is important, even if it's just for a short walk or a trip to the store. But what if you don't drive anymore? Or what if driving feels more stressful than it used to? Rideshare services for seniors, such as Uber or Lyft with accessibility options, can help maintain independence without relying on friends or family. And for those who still drive but worry about emergencies, GPS tracking and emergency alert devices can provide peace of mind. Now we'll discuss emotional well-being and mental health, because staying independent isn't just about physical support, but also about staying mentally strong and emotionally fulfilled. There's something people don't always talk about when it comes to aging alone: the silence. At first, it can be peaceful. No one to interrupt your thoughts, no unnecessary noise. Just you and your own space. But over time, silence can start to feel different. It can feel empty. The days start to blend together. Conversations become fewer. And before you know it, loneliness settles in. Not all at once, but slowly. Like a quiet shadow that grows longer with time. The truth is, staying independent isn't just about avoiding falls or remembering medications. It's also about staying connected, staying engaged, and keeping your mind sharp. Because the biggest risk of living alone isn't just a medical emergency. It's isolation. Loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's a health risk. Studies have shown that prolonged isolation can increase the risk of dementia, depression, and even heart disease. And it's easy to see why. Without regular interaction, the mind becomes less stimulated. Without purpose, the days start to feel meaningless. That's why maintaining emotional well-being is just as important as any assistive device in the home. So, let's talk about devices and solutions that help keep the mind active, the heart full, and life meaningful. One of the simplest but most effective tools, tablets designed for seniors. Unlike regular smartphones or computers, these are designed to be easy to use, with larger buttons, simple navigation, and quick access to video calls, news, and entertainment. Whether it's FaceTiming with family, playing brain games, or reading digital books, a well-designed tablet can open the door to a world of connection and mental stimulation. And speaking of staying mentally sharp, let's talk about brain-training games and apps. Keeping the mind engaged isn't just about avoiding boredom. It's about keeping memory strong and cognitive skills intact. Apps like Lumosity, Elevate, or even simple crossword puzzle games can help exercise the brain in a way that feels fun rather than like a chore. But let's be honest, technology alone isn't enough. Nothing replaces human connection. That's why companion devices are becoming more popular. Things like social robots that remind you to take your medicine, chat with you about your day, or even play music based on your mood. Some of these devices are designed to check in on you, ask if you've eaten, or remind you of upcoming events. It may sound futuristic, but for someone living alone, having a little extra companionship, even in digital form, can make a big difference. Of course, nothing replaces real human interaction. That's why voice-activated assistants like Alexa or Google Home can be so helpful. Imagine waking up and simply saying, "Alexa, what's on my calendar today?" Or, "Play relaxing music." Small things like this can make the day feel more interactive, even when there's no one else around. But here's something that's just as important as technology: staying socially engaged in the real world. One of the best ways to avoid isolation? Joining a senior social group, a community center, or an online forum, specifically for older adults. These spaces aren't just about meeting new people. They're about maintaining a sense of belonging. Whether it's a book club, a gardening group, or even an online discussion forum, having a place where your presence is valued makes all the difference. Another great option? Pet therapy, or companion pets. If having a dog or cat full-time is too much responsibility, there are robotic pets that provide comfort without the need for feeding, walking, or vet visits. For those who enjoy the real thing, adopting a low-maintenance pet can bring companionship, routine, and emotional support. And let's not forget about mental health tools. Just because you're independent doesn't mean you have to handle everything alone. Teletherapy and online counseling services are making it easier than ever to talk to a professional without leaving home. Whether it's dealing with grief, anxiety, or just needing someone to talk to, having access to mental health support can be life-changing. Here's the bottom line. Independence isn't just about being physically capable. It's about being emotionally strong, mentally sharp, and socially connected. So ask yourself, when was the last time you had a real conversation that made you smile? The last time you felt genuinely connected to someone? If it's been a while, maybe it's time to try something new. Whether it's reaching out to an old friend, joining a group, or even just setting up a weekly video call with family. Because living alone doesn't have to mean feeling alone. At the end of the day, aging with independence isn't just about safety or mobility. It's about having the right tools, physical, mental, and emotional, to keep life meaningful. From medical alert systems to mobility aids, from smart kitchen tools to social connection devices, each one of these assistive solutions plays a role in making sure living alone remains a choice, not a challenge. So, take a moment to think about where you are in life. What's working? What could be easier? What would make daily life not just manageable, but enjoyable? Because the goal isn't just to live alone, it's to live well.